Talk about the digestive system, and it serves multiple functions. First, obviously, is ingestion. You have to take food in, and food can either be in the solid or liquid form. Once it's in your mouth, the actual process of digestion begins. And digestion is the breaking down of the foodstuffs into the basic parts so that it can be absorbed by the intestines. The four foodstuffs are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and nucleic acids. And the purpose of the digestive system is to break those down into their simplest forms. Carbohydrates are broken down into monosaccharides, proteins are broken down into amino acids, fats are broken down into fatty acids, and then nucleic acids are broken down into the nucleotides for absorption. Now, absorption involves the taking up of those nutrients directly into the bloodstream or the lymph. And once it's in the bloodstream or the lymph, then it passes into the liver primarily for utilization by the body. And the food, or the mass that is not usable, is then compacted. Most of the absorption occurs in the jejunum, in the second part of the small intestine. And 95% of all absorption occurs in the small intestine, the jejunum and ileum. Very small percentage occurs in the large intestine. Most of water absorption, or a good deal of water absorption, occurs in the large intestine, as well as a few vitamins. And very little absorption occurs in the stomach. And then the waste that is not utilized, the body wants to get rid of, is stored up in the large intestine, passes into the rectum, and then out through the anal canal by a process called defecation. The alimentary canal is the old term for the GI tract or gastrointestinal tract. It starts at your lips, and basically the GI tract is just a tube that your body surrounds. It is surrounded by the body, but it's not really inside of your body, if you get what I mean. The stuff you put into your mouth is eventually going to come out one end or the other, usually the opposite end. But it does not get into your body other than by absorption. Remember, we talked about the hepatic portal circulation. That circulation, the purpose of that is to filter out the good stuff, detoxify foods, whatever, and then that is taken and utilized by the liver for synthesis of new proteins, glycogen, new enzymes, cholesterol, all the different things that the body needs for proper function. So we pass from the lips into the mouth, or the oral cavity, from there into the oral pharynx, and the oral pharynx into the esophagus. The esophagus is basically just a tube that goes all the way from your pharynx down into your stomach. And the stomach is a big storage tank. When I say big, I mean it can store upwards of a gallon of material. And I would venture to say that tomorrow many stomachs will have at least that volume in it. You then go from the stomach through the first true sphincter, and the sphincter is just a ring of smooth muscle. You pass from the stomach through what is called the pyloric sphincter into the duodenum. And the duodenum is the first part of the small intestine. These next three sections are the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. These are all small intestine. And like I said, the bulk of the breakdown of the foods occurs there, and the bulk of the absorption occurs in those three segments. The ileum, and note the spelling of the ileum, I-L-E-U-M. It's not L-I-L-I-U-M. Where do we have I-L-I-U-M?
In the hip.
In the hip. Good. So we pass through the ileocecal sphincter into a blind sac called the cecum. And hanging off the cecum is a little finger-like structure called the appendix. But the cecum is the beginning of the large intestine, or colon. And so we go from the cecum, we go up the right side of your abdomen in the ascending colon, cross from the right to the left through the transverse colon, and then turn downward into the descending colon into an S-shaped colon called the sigmoid, finally into the rectum and then out through the anus.